So we'll start off. Can you tell me your names?
Certainly, yeah. Jason Bastable.
So can you say, my name is Jason?
Oh, beg pardon, sorry. Hello there. Hi, my name is Jason Bastable.
Hello, my name's Gerald Thurgood.
Wonderful. What's your story, Jason?
Basically, 8 years ago, I went for a random eye test with my daughter. Funny enough, my daughter was a hairdresser. She went because the girls used to take the mickey out of her because she cut hair so bad. And we had like a lunch date, and we went to just a random Spectators in Farnham. They had a space, so I got my eyes tested, and because I never had my eyes really tested since I was a young lad. I didn't think I had a problem. They flagged up a problem. I heard the word glaucoma. That was the first time that I ever actually heard the word glaucoma, so I was a bit unsure what it was. They advised that I needed to go to Frimley Park Hospital on an emergency appointment to see a specialist, which is now my surgeon, Tom Kersley. And basically, from the initial eye test, within 6 weeks, unfortunately, I was registered blind. From that moment, my life changed. Yeah.
Well, sorry, just one other thing. If you can try and talk to me as well, rather than talking to the cameras.
Oh, beg pardon, sorry. Yeah.
What did you do before you were diagnosed?
Basically, I was in the meat industry. I was a butcher. I was trained as a butcher for 30 odd years. Then I slightly diversed into catering, doing catering for a big company in London, which was great fun, working with chefs. Basically driving a 7.5 ton lorry around different venues in London and setting up mobile kitchens and basically just working. I was a single parent. Unfortunately, my partner died a few years back. So it's just like a single parent working hard to support my 2 children, you know. That's how it was, yeah.
And when you were diagnosed, how did it make you feel?
To be fair, it was very upsetting, nervy, sort of just not knowing, because basically the surgeon guy said it's going to be a roller coaster, because being diagnosed with glaucoma at that stage, he couldn't actually tell how much damage and stuff was actually done. But as it's worked out now on my journey, they know it was I had about 30 years of damage already done. So a lot of my nerve tissues and a lot of the veins and stuff in my eye was already severely damaged and beyond repair, basically. So it was a very anxious time. I know it being a very anxious time, a very nervous and sad time, and just basically it felt like you're just going to go into a black tunnel and you couldn't see no light at the end of it. At that first, the first initial conversations was very frightening and scary, and like I say, just entering the unknown. I just didn't really have a clue, because my image, you hear the word blind, and being quite naive to it, basically I just thought of war heroes with patches on their eyes and like no vision at all. So it was that scary concept of thinking, wow, is this where I'm going? Is this where I'm going to end up? Obviously through knowledge now and on my journey for the last 8 years, I understand blindness a lot more. Understand there's different categories to blindness. And obviously, being introduced to the charity, it's made hell of a difference, hell of a difference.
And how was your life affected?
Well, basically I went from having a routine, like I say, being a single father, working to a routine, like sort of 6 days a week. Obviously planning meals, cooking meals, doing everything that a parent would do. Basically, from having that taken away from me, I wasn't allowed to drive. I had no set routine, and sort of at the time you think, oh, this is lovely. I actually got no structure now. I can sort of thing, but like what a lot of people witness now with lockdown, like having a lot of time on your hands, is very, very difficult to manage. It's like we can all touch on it. I'm sure there's not a person who didn't experience COVID that can't touch on like actually having a lot of time on your hands can lead to a lot of other issues, So the first few months were really difficult because I was having treatments and surgeries. I had to stop working. They took away my driving license. Then obviously I had financial commitments that I still had to commit to. So it was like I say, it's all part of entering that very dark tunnel and just not really knowing where to go, what to expect.
And did you play golf before you were diagnosed, or was that something you came across?
To be honest, I played a little bit with the lads. I was more football. I was more like team games and football. But I'd had a few knocks, a few knock rounds, like a par 3 course, my local par 3 course. But it was always just a bit of fun. And if I'm totally honest, it was sort of like a drunken little bit of fun, basically, you know. Because in them days, you know, the pubs used to shut at 3 o'clock. And then they opened up at 6, so within the 3 hours after football, a few of the lads would just take a few tinnies and go and hit a few balls up the par 3 till the pubs opened again at 6 type thing. So it wasn't something that sort of interests me as such, but it's just a matter of having a crack with the lads, sort of thing, you know. So it wasn't until obviously I got diagnosed blind, and again having the time, I had to think of ways to manufacture my time and manufacture my days and weeks and things like that. And that's when basically I got introduced to golf and England and Wales blind golf through Sight for Surrey. I had to go for cane training when I got registered blind to get your blue badges and stuff. You had to go like on the council register to get your badges, and they help you out with your disability route and what you have to do to be registered disabled and stuff. And one of the ladies there, my caseworker, she kindly gave me magazines and stuff and said there's sports available, then you have a bit of you know, a bit of counselling, if it want for a better word, and they introduce you to sports. You can try different sports, and my chosen sport was golf, yeah, luckily. And then through Sight for Surrey I got introduced to England and Wales blind golf, yeah.
And how's your life changed since England and Wales blind golf?
To be fair, it's just been such a journey. It's been such a journey. For me personally, the golf was just an added little bonus, if I'm honest. I enjoy it. You know, it wasn't something that I planned to do, but it's something I sort of fell into, and I don't know. It's such a drastic change from going. Because even my surgeon and stuff, he couldn't even relate like the problems that I had to face, the problems I was facing. He could only give me a strict medical side of my condition, which basically I didn't really understand. It wasn't until being introduced to England and blind golf, and a lot of the lads there have all got their own stories, all got different conditions, but most of them are degenerative conditions. Being introduced to the lads and just having chats and building friendships, you know, that itself is just priceless. The confidence you gain, and being around people and with people with very similar stories and journeys, you know, that stuff, you can't sort of look that up on the internet. You can sit down with someone and discuss things with them. And you know, a lot of these lads have been on a journey from B4s, and some of them now are sadly down to B1s. So their journeys alone are inspirational and inspiring. But I picked up a lot of strength and a lot of, you know, it sort of gave me my mojo back in a way, thinking like I can cope with this, you know, I can cope with this. It takes away, you know, like I say about the dark tunnel, all of a sudden there was a little light at the end of the tunnel, just being around these people and understanding their journeys and speaking to them about day-to-day issues that we all have to go through and deal with. The confidence that seeing these lads, you know, the way they conduct themselves, the way they live their lives, I wasn't frightened anymore, you know, I wasn't frightened anymore. It gave me the confidence to really like, just thinking I can cope with this now. It put me in a lot better place. And not just me, like my family, my friends, they all noticed the change in me. From being like a little bit sort of down in the dumps and stuff, all of a sudden sort of getting my mojo back. And, you know, and that strictly is down to England and Wales blind golf. You can't gain that experience or that friendships and trust and even love, you know. It's like a big family environment being with the guys. It's certainly helped me, and it's certainly I want to pay that forward and help others, you know, because it does. It changes your life without a shadow of a doubt. Changes your life.
And how did you guys meet?
Jed's my guide. Obviously, he helps me out. He gives me some coaching advice. I got introduced to, because with the golf I wanted to train, there's opportunities once I got into it. Andy Guilford, close friend of mine, we had a discussion and he was saying there's a lot more to it. Like my original thing when I hooked up, I thought it's just a bunch of visually impaired guys going and have a knock round. Just more of a social thing than anything, which really interests me anyway. But the more I got to understand it, the more I got into it, it was just amazing, the opportunities that are there. So I really sort of took it on board. I joined one of my local golf courses where I live in Farnham, a golf course called Blackmore Golf Course. And Jed here was one of the members. I was playing a tournament. I rely heavily on volunteers because obviously being visually impaired, you can't go and play golf on your own. I always need someone just to help me out around the course. I actually played against Jed in a club tournament, and we had a little chat on the way round, and I was saying about my visually impairment, and basically Jed was very helpful and kind, and afterwards we had a pint and he come and chat to me saying like how much like he was inspired and how much he thinks he could help me and improve my golf. And basically that was our beginning of our journey, sort of like nearly 2 years ago now, was it?
Yeah,
maybe
2 years.
yeah, maybe 2 years now we've been working together. And again, you know, it's another little journey, and all of a sudden that dark tunnel is now got even a little bit more lighter. And golf-wise, we're sort of on a mission now, aren't we? We set our little targets and stuff.
Yeah, we set our targets and we're reaching them, yeah. And we just keep working harder and harder. Yeah.
Jed, what's your background coming into golf?
Well, I've always played golf and other sports. Been a member of Blackmore since '95 and met Jason and was totally blown away with the concept and saw it as an immediate challenge to help somebody fulfill his dreams and help him to be able to compete not just in blind golf but be inspiring at club level. And he's done that with distinction. He created history at Blackmore Golf Club by reaching a first final for a disabled golfer, and could have won. But I'm very proud of him, and he's very inspiring, and I find the whole organisation an absolute must, because it gives blind people the opportunity to play a sport and fulfill their dreams, to mix with other people with the same illness. But the main attraction for me is we formed a relationship which will be life. It will be for life. Total trust, love each other's company, always laughing and joking. Had some real fun along the way, haven't we?
Had some laughs, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, we have had some laughs, yeah. But the main concept is helping Jason to fulfill his dreams, because we set ourselves some targets, some of them high, and he's reaching them through hard work. He always drops in a bomb every now and again, like he changes clubs, tinkering and stuff. But it's a challenge. But the whole concept has been life-changing for me. Yeah, I've probably formed the best relationship as a friend with Jason that I have in my whole life, and I'll stick by him all the time. He plays golf and after. Yeah, I really love to have the relationship and the bonding that we've got, along with Andy and other groups. The whole organisation is a must, and it's got to grow. It needs backing, but it's a must. It is a real must, because it gives people with sight impediments the ability to be able to compete on an even level. People don't realise how big blind golf is across the world. They've got no idea, and it needs to be highlighted and backed. I mean, we played in the South African Open, went to South Africa, and I had the most life-changing experience in my life. If I could go there once a year for the rest of my life, I'd be really happy. Absolutely inspiring. But the level of blind golf throughout the world is incredible, and to see some of the golfers with the ability. I mean, one guy, scratch golfer, hits a ball 325 yards. Absolutely inspiring. But the relationship with Jason is very special to me, and I value it like you can't imagine. And he gets awards, he takes me with him, he makes me feel part of everything, and that's very rewarding. And I take, when he does well, it's very rewarding to see him putting in the hard work and getting the results that he's getting, because he's just getting better and better through hard work. But to do what he's achieved, to reach the targets that we've set ourselves in 2 years, is really commendable, and he's only going to get better. So he's the most driven person I've ever met in my life where his golf's concerned. But he's a scream along the way. He really is one hell of a character, yeah. He always makes me laugh, and never a dull moment, even at my expense sometimes.
What is Jason like to guide? Is he an obedient player?
He listens, he takes on information. You can't feed him with too much information because it just blows his concentration. He's easy to guide because I've given him a routine. He sticks to that routine and he trusts his routine. He doesn't let anybody tell him any different. He's worked hard with me on curing a slice, which has now become a power fade. He's worked hard on his short game, which has become one of his strengths. And he's one of the best putters I've ever seen in my life. So he's got an all-round game that just needs to be tuned. But as a guide, sometimes he can be challenging when he just has a blip in concentration. But apart from that, yeah, he's very, very. He listens. He takes on the right information. But what we've built up is a strength because he totally trusts me. If I say something to him or give him a line, he goes to that line and I set him up, and he totally trusts me impeccably. And that's what you've got to add as a guide, total trust. But he's fun to guide. It's not all about winning, it's having the laughs along the way. And we've had some screams, yeah. But he's just easy to guide, easy to be with, fun to be around, and I love being part of it. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
What makes a good guide?
Good guide is understanding of your partner's golf swing, having the ability to cure the problem with his golf swing, not to give him too much information because that totally baffles him. Just give him the right amount of information that he needs, make him relaxed, and make sure he concentrates all the time. But the main thing is, even though we're playing in competition, it's very competitive, is to make sure that he has fun, whether good or bad. But the most important is trust. He never doubts me. I've never stood behind him, read a putt where he's doubted me. Never. And he holds a lot of putts. He really does, yeah. Yeah, he's lethal with the putter. He really is. But he's improving his driving. First of all, he wanted to hit a driver all the time. So the first thing I done was take the driver straight out of the bag. Got a club called the Baby. We call it Baby because it just does as it's told. And that's why he's got better. He's more consistent. He hits more fairways. He's gained 40 yards of distance. he carries 3 3-woods, and now because he's consistent in his swing, he totally and utterly, he's bought a driver and he's getting longer and longer. So to be a good guide, you've got to have a good understanding of his golf swing. Set him up right, be patient, don't give him too much information, but above all, you've got to have a bond. And we have that bond 100%, and it's been picked up at our club. What do they call us? Fanny and Faldo, don't they?
I'm the Faldo, by the way.
Yeah. But you know, and I take that as a compliment. So, and I've backed him 100%. You know, I do things. I take him home. I mean, all last year, I gave him loads of time. But what I enjoy is putting the hard work in and seeing him do well. We played in the tournament at Southampton and he won and played the best golf I've seen him all year. He reduced me to tears because I was so proud of him. He's had a couple of close shaves along the way, one blip in concentration, but no, he's easy to guide and he's got a lot of natural ability, but curing his slice where some people get him to aim 30, 40 yards left, he doesn't do that anymore. He's got a pre-shot routine. He's got a pre-shot short game routine, putting routine. Well, until he bought a new putter, which he didn't tell me until we got on the course. But that's the kind of thing he throws in the spanner in the works. But you know,
It's a toy.
it's just a toy. But yeah, he's a bit of a tinkerer. But yeah, he's fun to guide, easy to guide for me because we have that understanding, and I understand his swing because we've got a very similar swing, and I probably know more about his golf swing up until last year than I did my own. But I've learned more from guiding about the game of golf in 2 years than I have in 20. It's helped my game too. But some people say, how can you still play competition golf, take Jason around your course and guide and concentrate on your own golf? Well, the answer to that is A, because I want to do it, B, because I love doing it, C, don't find the concentration any different from guiding him than I do playing my own game because it helps me concentrate. But I just love being out there helping him to fulfill his dreams. And I absolutely love it. It's the best thing I've ever done in sport in my life. And it's really, really, I've never done anything that's so more rewarding to help somebody. And it's great to be able to help people, and this charity deserves to go big, get bigger, get stronger, have more investment and a brighter future, because I think it deserves it.
Jason, how does it feel when you're competing at like these big international?
To be fair, same thing. I really enjoy it, obviously, because I never, you know, if you told me eight years ago that, you know, in 4 years' time, whatever, you know, you get them scenarios like, where would you be in 4 years? I really didn't have a clue. And even when I first got introduced to England and Wales, I didn't really understand it or the options and that available. But, you know, after conversations, making friends, making progress with my game, entering the bigger tournaments, you know, to think I like, well, you know, you're up there, you're challenging in sporting events that you think like you wouldn't even be part of. You know, I really did have to pinch myself at first and think, you know, is this really happening? Like, this is really happening. Like, you know, you're up there in big tournaments, and it's amazing. It's somewhere that I thought I'd never be, something that I thought I'd never witness. But because the opportunities are there, it's fantastic, and it's with the help of Jed. I'm quite fortunate that with my game I can be competitive in some of the events, not all the events obviously. You have little patches of form and bits and pieces, but to actually have the options, and you know, it's something that an option I never thought I'd have. To have the options to enter these events and be competitive, again, it's just mind blowing really. But the good thing, what I find about it most of all is the actual longevity. Like even now this year, I'm thinking about this summer and planning my summer, and it's not just about, you know, it's about the fitness. It gives you a whole new avenue of life. It really has for me. I wouldn't have liked to know. Funny enough, we just had the question downstairs, what would you do without it? And to be honest, I don't even want to consider it, because I don't like looking backwards or thinking about things. I like to stay positive and move forward. But I know I wouldn't be as happy, as committed, as, I don't know, definitely as happy without it in my life. With it in my life, it is just so fulfilling now. And it's not just me, it's my friends, my family. More my family, they've seen the change in me. You know, I used to become a bit mischievous when I had time on my hands, but now I'm just concentrating. It just gives you something to focus on and concentrate on. And like I say, I look at my fitness now. I never used to be worried about my fitness at all, but now all of a sudden it's like, well, if I can stay positive and fit, I can get better results. And it's just a big drive, you know, it's just a big driving force in my life now to be part of the golf and have golf as an option in my life. It's just fantastic personally, you know.
Cool. In sort of a short, quick sentence, why is England-Wales blind golf so important?
It's so important for me. The golf to me is a bonus, like I touched on before. It's the meeting of people, it's striking up the friendships. You know, these friendships are going to last a lifetime now, and just being involved around very similar people with very similar conditions, again, it just gives me confidence, and everything about it is just fantastic, and I really wouldn't know where I'd be without it.
And Jed, same.
Well, without being able to go and play at some of these lovely venues, go to internationals, go to South Africa, being without Jason, my life would be not the same. We would be absolutely empty. I absolutely love going to the events, love being with Jason, and blind golf is very important to me as a guide, because it gives me opportunity to meet other people like Andy, Richard there, and all the other people. And I met some great friends, been on weekends away golfing, been to Nottingham. Just the whole concept of making new friends, having a new outlook on life and having a challenge. And I'd be lost without it, and I really cherish it. Yeah. But I think England and Wales golf it's got the ability to grow, and I hope it fulfills all its dreams and gets bigger and has more backing, becomes very professional. And like the South African Open, I didn't realise how big blind golf was until I went to South Africa, and it was absolutely, it blew your mind away. But he hasn't got a nerve in his body. I mean, he sits on a tee with 200-300 people watching, and he's just incredible. He just goes out there, laughs, jokes, and plays the golf, and it's great to be around. Yeah, but I enjoy it, and I'd be lost without Jason, yes.
Why is it so important to get your eyes checked?
Okay, so with regards to the eye check and stuff, like I say, I never went since preschool. It was something that I never felt that I had a problem with, because knowing what I know now, the brain takes the bigger picture, and it was I had the reversal. Like my eyes was meant to tell my brain what was going on, but it was my brain telling my eyes what was going on, which is totally like topsy-turvy way round of doing things. So, you know, like a lot of people look after the way they eat, a lot of people exercise, but I do think people do maybe take for granted their eyesight. So I do think it should be part of your natural health checks, you know, is just stick to a routine, go get your eyes checked, because you just never know. I think to date there's about 90 odd now registered eye conditions without being found out that you have these conditions can actually lead to blindness. So it could be something very minor, or it could be something that for unfortunate guys flags up as a very red flag straight away. But you know, as much fun as I'm having, I don't want this condition. You know, if I had the choice, I would have gone and got eye checks. So please do get your eyes checked at least once a year, because early on, the earlier they pick up these conditions, the better they can manage it and hopefully save your sight.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, good.
You go.
No, that's great.
Um,
Go for it.
yeah, we've known each other for many years now, and I remember the first conversation I ever had with you, which was the same that me and Ron had. And I've seen what you've fulfilled through golf. We all talk about, you know, what's possible out there, but for somebody that's never even contemplated playing golf before, that's losing the sight, what do you believe? Because I believe that you're one of the biggest inspirations in blind golf across the world, to be honest, and every one of us from player and guide is an inspiration to somebody out there. So somebody that's never even considered trying golf, what do you think that basically it will give somebody in their life? And why should somebody try golf that might never even contemplate it in their life? What do you believe it could give somebody in their life?
Again, it comes down to challenges, I believe. Like losing your vision's a challenge, and it takes away a lot. You know, a lot of people. I'm competitive. I've got a lot to live for. I've got grandchildren. I want people to be proud of me, and I don't want to throw the towel in on life. You know, there's a lot of options and a lot of things you can do. So just by good, you know, you may not have ever touched a golf club before, but who knows? You know, just go down to a driving range, get a friend. Not only is it great for your mental health, not only is it a great bit of exercise, but if you do take to it, there's a big family waiting to support you, and it's a challenge. You know, if you're up for a personal challenge and the support and everything's there for you, around you, the life that you think you've lost through sight loss, there is a new life waiting on the horizon. Just, it's there with open arms. So if you don't give it a go, you would never know. And then, like myself, you can talk about your own journeys, and then you set your own targets. But at the end of the day, you know, live a fulfilled life. Even though you got sight loss, there's no excuse not to live a fulfilled life and challenge yourself. Just basically go for it, guys. Give it a go. It is great, great fun, honestly. And the people you meet on your journey, the support, they're loving, it's life-changing. So please, give it a go and change your life.
And also, sorry to put you on the spot.
No worries, mate. I'm used to it with you now, Gilly.
I know what it means to your family. I've seen, you know, when you first qualified for the international and the pride that it gave your daughters, and as you say, you know, what you've gone through life with your family. As the charity tries to bring children in as to try and show what golf can give to children coming through, and confidence and building bonds and things like that. As a parent, what would you say to any parent out there that's got a visually impaired child? What do you think golf can give to a family? Forming those bonds between the parent and child, and the journey that they can go on.
Again, as we all know, sight loss is very challenging, not only for the person that is actually dealing with the sight loss, but like me, it affected my family, my children, my parents. Everybody's got a concern, and everybody's worried. You know, everybody's worried and they're concerned. So, you know, if you've got young children, older children, and they want to give it a go, it just lifts. It just gives them such a natural lift, and it is so fulfilling. And you know, seeing the smiles on their faces again, and seeing the bondship, the friendship, and everything that's there. Again, I know I keep saying it's life-changing, but it really is, you know, it really is. And having the support there as well, which is the most important thing, with the guides, with the organisation, you know, it can change not only a young child's life or anybody's life with sight loss, but it's the loved ones and family around them, you know, the friends, everybody gets a take on it. And like Jed said, you know, it's very, very rewarding and very satisfying. It's not all about the golf. Like I said earlier, the golf to me is a bonus, but the companionship, the bonds that you form, that's the life-changing moment. And everybody, takes a big weight off your shoulders, knowing that, you know, you've got 4, 5, 6 events a year where you can go away the weekend and hook up with like-minded people. You know, it's just great. Just give it a go, guys. Give it a go. Children, adults, whoever, women, transsexuals, the lot. Just give it a go, you know, have some fun. Don't know if I should have thrown that in, but.
We could go for hours if we trees, wine.
Say something, John.